Now, what was happening in that moment that you decided as a woman to jump into this situation?
Well, everyone was standing around recording and egging it on and, like cheering to them. And I kept waiting for the police to show up and waiting and terrified, And when I realized the police weren't going to come, I could hear someone, the man that I jumped in front of, literally crying to God, "Please God, somebody save me, somebody help me." It was the third time he had been knocked down and kicked in his face over and over. Somebody had told me 57 times. They had counted through all the videos. And I knew that if I didn't jump in, if he had fallen down one more time, he would not have made it out alive.
Well, was there anything said? There was no words exchanged between you, your friends, and the individuals? Many of them, well, some of them already charged. No words exchanged?
Not really. No. I mean, when we came outside, there were some racist comments. I guess some of the people that we were with were from the country of Russia. And there were a bunch of Russian comments and some people saying that they wanted to beat up the Russians. So I don't even know how they knew where they were from. And then there were some comments about, white people shouldn't be out here, or we're going to go night-night, you white bleep words. And so, definitely it was a little scary. And then when they started circling, there were... it was just an attack that should have never happened. And there were a lot of people in the attack. Now that some of the people have been arrested, they have rap sheets that go on for days. And especially the man who punched me in the face, he had just got out of jail a few months before and had felonies on him. And I don't understand why he was running the streets, and a lot of other people should have never even been out of jail to even do this to me or the others.
Damn right!
Well, hello folks, this is your friendly neighborhood watchman, here with you today to talk about the vicious mob beating that had taken place in Cincinnati last month. It may be old news as far as the mainstream media goes, but most of us, aka common sense non-leftists, want those charged with the brutal assault to receive their just punishment and face the consequences for their actions. Now, unfortunately, Democrats being Democrats, the leaders in Cincinnati charged a white man that was being jumped. That's him right here in this blurry video still. So the white man is charged because he lightly slapped a black man. And that's not hyperbole. He lightly slapped the black man, and so they all gangbang assault him like a bunch of rabid animals. Okay, he didn't lightly slap all of them like a Three Stooges scene where he delivered multiple slaps at once.
Boys.
You know damn well this is a race crime. Skin color played a part. Skin color was at the bottom of this, or the top. But without further ado, let's jump into this article from the New York Post with the byline by Chris Nessie and the title, "Single Mom Viciously Knocked Out Cold in Cincinnati Mob Attack Breaks Silence. Quote, still recovering." End quote. The single mom, and that's after a few days of healing. And you've seen that video, that black coward just swings at her. Takes a cheap shot at her without warning, without any provocation. She was just trying to break things up, calm things down. But, she's white. And they're in a head-stomping rampage. Like a bunch of frenzied sharks with blood in the water. The single mom, viciously pummeled by a group of black thugs, let's be real now, in Cincinnati last month, has broken her silence since the melee to thank supporters, saying they, quote, brought back faith and humanity. "I want to say thank you to everyone for all of the love and support. It's definitely what's keeping me going. And you have just brought back faith and humanity," end quote, said the local woman, identified only as Holly, through tears on social media. "It's been very, very hard, and I'm still recovering. I still have a very bad brain trauma," Holly said. her right eye still blackened and her face covered in yellow bruising from the attack. Viral video of the street brawl showed a group of mostly black men surrounding Holly and an unidentified man, both of whom are white. One of the alleged assailants, Montanez Merriweather, 34, has claimed he was called racial slurs, of course, bullshit, and spat on in the lead up to the beatdown, because blacks think they have a right to just beat up, assault people, head stomp people, and just gang up on people or person for calling them a name. And that's just assuming it happened. That's just an example. Even if that happened, you don't have a get out of jail free card. You don't have the right to go assaulting people or killing people over a name, a word. And Holly didn't even call him anything. She didn't say anything. She was trying to break it up. Look at her. You know how many people have died just from their head smacking against the pavement like that? When they're knocked out cold? Because they can't break their fall, obviously. They're knocked out. They're unconscious. And they crack their head open on the pavement. Usually leads to brain swelling and their life in danger. The two victims were punched and stomped on as they cowered on the ground, with blood pouring from Holly's mouth. Well, she wasn't cowering. She was knocked out cold. As it says right here, Holly was knocked unconscious as a mob descended on her. And don't try to cover her up or none. Luckily, she had on underwear. And let the head stomping commence. Even black women could get in on it because of all the hate that had been fed by the left. Merriweather, Jermaine Matthews, 39, and by bystander, DeCara Vernon, 24, believed to be the woman who sucker punched Holly in the back of the head before a man slugged her directly in the face, so she was hit twice, Holly was, were among the alleged assailants arrested and charged with felonious assault and aggravated riot. She just interjected herself into a brawl on the street, Cincinnati Police Detective Barney Blank said of the female suspect Vernon. Cincinnati.com reported. Family members, and you gotta like that, Cincinnati leaders demanding prosecution of white man who used racial slur in viral street brawl. And single mom Holly, battered by Cincinnati mob, slams insulting police chief, that piece of crap DEI hire, female moron, for calling the beatdown a quote incident, end quote. Single mom Holly, knocked out by Cincinnati mob, opens up about her pain and panic. I should be dead. That's what I said about the head just hitting the pavement like that when you're unconscious and not able to break your fall. And a fourth suspect busted in the brawl, as video shows moments before meeting. Family members of the alleged assailants have since attempted to make the street rampage into a racial issue, claiming the only reason it drew so much attention and outrage was because of the skin color of those involved. Yet, you know how many white people get beat and jumped by blacks? Go on X and you see, and they don't make the news. They couldn't hide this one though because it went viral and they couldn't hide it. That's what happened.
He ain't lying.
If it was an African American woman who got knocked out, we wouldn't have been going to all this, said an unidentified racist loved one of Merriweather, whom cops accused of coordinating the ambush attack to WLWT outside the local courthouse. You know, the same old, my son was he's always a good boy, a good student. He never caused no trouble. Meanwhile, he has a rap sheet longer than Santa Claus Christmas list. Holly, who suffered brain trauma in addition to severe facial bruising, said her recovery has been very, very hard and tearfully thanked those who contributed to her Give, Send, Go fundraiser, which so far has raised more than $170,000, and which Charlie Sheen was one of those donors, and he called people out on it. Actor Charlie Sheen replied to influencer Benny Johnson, who was thanking Charlie for his donation, and Sheen replied on X, Benny, I was merely following your gracious lead. The speed at which you and Senator Moreno hatched the donation plan was stunning and compassionate and as patriotic as it gets. You both reminded all of us of the America we remain proud to call home. Keep up the great work, and to Holly, we have your six. Kisses and hug, Charlie Sheen. So folks, we come to the end of this video, and as always, when we have the time, we'll go through a few reader mail. First up, from Careless Whispers, we have So much for equality. Special treatment is not equality. It is not acceptable behavior for any group, despite what our friends on the left will try to convince you of. This was animal behavior and was condoned by many on the left. It was disturbing the excuses they tried to make. I have zero faith in any left appointee having any hand in justice. Well said, as do I. Next up is USA for DJT. How many tax dollars do you think was spent on them over the past 75 years or so? Maybe 1.5 trillion? What good did it do? Educational stats are worse than ever. Crime seems to be worse than ever. We got blamed that on the leftist domination over our educational system that does not even attempt to teach unbiased history and paints white people almost universally in a bad light. You think, according to them, that white people invented slavery and no mention of them actually helping to end slavery, at least in our sphere of influence in Western society. Kalinda responds, fatherless and godlessness in their communities/families led to all the undisciplined folks. Mothers have recently checked out as well. Yeah, you could thank leftist policies for that too, Democrats, with the welfare system. Mamas get more money when there's no man in the house and the more children she has. Imagine that. Next up, we have Black Jack Shellac. What even if the assailants were called the N-word? It doesn't change anything. There is no law against using the N-word, and even if there were, it would be unconstitutional. Acting out physically against a verbal affront is assault 100% of the time.
You got that right.
Exactly what I was getting to at the start of this video. Next up, we have Ed Earl, who says, I love it when white people say, quote, there's only one race, the human race, end quote. Kumbaya, my lord, kumbaya. And then they regain consciousness several days later in the hospital. In therapy sessions, they are taught about the frog and the scorpion. We gotta give all these people likes. And last but not least, from Frankie, we have what happened in Cincinnati justified our thesis over again. It wasn't a simple fight. It wasn't an incident, my words. As a DEI head of the Cincinnati Police Department had said, it was an organized hate crime, and importantly, a clear organized lynching attempt to white people. After reviewing the video of the Cincinnati brawl, I count 32 head stomps on the male victim, delivered by 17 active assailants. About 12 additional bystanders blocked aid or watched without intervening. The female intervener, Holly, was punched unconscious, likely sustaining TBI, traumatic brain injury, from the impact. Horrific lack of humanity. So they have 3 people, now 4 people in custody over that. By what Frankie says, 32 head stomp, and that's not counting the punches thrown and kicks on other parts of the body. On the white male, by 17 different assailants, but only 4 are arrested.
Bullshit.
So 14 black thugs got away with assaulting the white man, and 12 others that were being obstacles. And of course, recording all this on their phones. Well, folks, we come to the end of this unpleasant video. So if you agree with the comments made by me and or the readers, then hit that like button. And if you agree with the article, then please subscribe if you haven't already. And click on that notification bell so that you'll always be given a heads up every time I drop another video. And as always, stay safe and I bid you peace.